So can we give it up for our 4 panelists tonight? And I'm going to be asking them questions. So yeah, are we ready to get started?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Okay, how are we? How are we today?
Check.
Excited?
Are we on?
Check.
Yeah, you guys can. Okay, so I'm going to be asking each of them questions, and at the end of the panel, you guys will have a chance, like, think of the questions you want to ask them, or if you're really interested. And this is something, that, like, we're doing this so you can be inspired, and you can think, oh, like, maybe I want to do this, or I'm struggling creatively, like, I need some inspiration, I need some advice. So think of your questions, and then let us know, and then you can answer them. So, yeah, so my beautiful panelists. So I'm going to start with Brefo.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so my first question is, do you have the same passion for content creation and being amongst the creative industry as you do for playing the game of basketball?
Ooh,
Damn.
that's a great question.
That's a tough question. I would say yes, but I would say basketball is what started it. My passion for basketball was when I was younger growing up, and then I think inspiration from content from America and other basketball players would inspire me to keep going and find a deeper love for it. I guess I kind of drifted off that path of going pro and more focusing on content and building community, but still founded by basketball. So yeah, I guess, I don't know if the answer to it, but like it's like yes, but like basketball was the
It's the core,
enforcer.
it's the core,
Yeah.
okay. So in saying that, where did the idea of hosting a park takeover stem from, and what are your ambitions for Takeover Australia?
Where did it stem from? I think it was like the COVID time. I think everybody was just kind of inside in their own thoughts. I was kind of content creating a little bit on TikTok here and there, but it was mostly just like messing around. And I've been friends with these guys for a while, so we always had those calls talking about content, but I think the hardest part is taking that first step. And then I think that COVID time, watching Americans do their own thing and kind of just like, when COVID was over, I was just like, F it, bro. Just took that first step, started first takeover, and then from then on, just new visions and new ideas that came upon and just kept going.
I think it's hard for being a creative in Australia where there's no platform
100%.
and having to create that for yourself,
Yeah.
especially being a minority. So has that been something like, that's actually really bold that you were able to step out and be your own, knowing that like you're the first of your kind in Australia, not like America where they have many, many support systems there.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So, and then the last question is, as a pioneer of an independent community sports events in Sydney, what has helped you successfully blend content creation, basketball, and community building together?
Right, sorry, you gotta go again. Go again one more
Oh,
time.
y'all heard me? Okay, so I said, as a pioneer of independent community sports events in Sydney,
Yeah.
what has helped you successfully blend content creation, basketball, and community building?
I think it's pretty easy for me. I think with the sport of basketball, I think it's a lot of individuals that are creative in their own way. They've got their own, like, I guess, egos and personalities. So pulling the camera out and I guess taking that first step of putting it on me makes everyone else more comfortable of stepping into the camera as well. But I think damn near every hooper's got an ego, some cockiness to them. So them being on camera and mixing that whole kind of world together it's pretty easy. And then yeah, being able to show people's life stories and experiences and just let them, I guess, get out their little bubble and show person. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to the next panelist. We have the gorgeous Maina. So this is my question for you. You've built a strong connection with the Sydney Opera House from performing at the Liminal Music film series to starring in a short film. How has your experience in music influenced your work across the creative fields, like acting, modeling, and the creative direction you've taken with your career?
How has music influenced it?
Yeah.
I think everything I do, like in fashion and film, it kind of already feeds into the music and it's always been there. With that being said, I feel like music was the gateway to that, if that makes sense. Like I wouldn't have been able to do the film and the shows and the fashion stuff if I didn't take that step into music, you know? How do they inform each other? I feel like as a musician, if you want to be a good musician, you have to take in everything, you know, whether it's film, whether it's, you know, I don't know, a crazy book, whatever it is, when you travel, the conversations you have with people. To make good music, I feel like you have to absorb everything, you know? So once you get to a place where opportunities do come up for you, it all just feeds into each other. Oh, did my mic just cut off? My bad. It's really important, you know, and I think I take that quite seriously when I make music and when I do what I do. I just make sure that I like feed everything into, you know, the craft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question for you is, what's a creative risk that you took that changed the way you create art?
A creative risk. I think the biggest creative risk that I've had to take was probably just kind of going against the grain and not making stuff that everybody else is making. I think it can be quite daunting to stay vulnerable and authentic when you're making music and try things that maybe people aren't doing yet, or they're just not doing in general. And for me, like, taking risks is an everyday thing. Like, you shouldn't give a fuck what anyone's doing. Do you know what I mean? Like what everyone else is doing is irrelevant almost. Like, you just have to do what you want to do, you know?
That's the way you're going to stand out. That's why we get the
That's
Doja
it.
Cats and the scissors, all because they're very unique.
Totally.
So my last question for you, my love, is there any part of your artistry that you feel is often misunderstood?
Misunderstood?
Yeah.
Shut up at the back. You're distracting me. Fuck. I don't think I'm misunderstood often, to be honest. But when I am misunderstood, I think it's probably because, you know, maybe I say some shit on a track, or, you know, I do an interview and I say something that just comes up in my head. But again, like, that kind of feeds into your authenticity, right? Like, who cares if someone misunderstands you? Like, it's not a big thing.
Yeah.
And if I do take it personally sometimes, which I do, because I'm a human being, I think that's fine, and I deal with it in my own way, and then again, it just feeds back into the music. So it's all love, you know.
Yeah, I love that. I love that
Yeah.
answer. Okay, and this one is for Jamz. So, what is something about content creating that you wish more people understood?
That I wish more people understood.
Yeah.
Ooh. There's a few answers to that question, I won't lie. But I would say one is that it's harder than people think. I feel like a lot of people can just make a video that goes viral, 1 or 2 videos that goes viral. But if you want to, like, do this for real, it's like a job. Like, every day you have to wake up and put hours into it. It doesn't matter what, if you really want it to happen. So that's what I feel like is misunderstood sometimes. Like, you have to treat it like a job. But at the end of the day, you love to do it. So you don't even see it as a job. So I'll say that, sure.
And, like, in saying that, how do you think you balance entertainment with the authenticity of your content? So, like, for people who maybe didn't understand that, like, being original and it's not, like, faked. You know how we have them fake prank people? They'd be setting up the camera, like, let me prank my boyfriend, and we can see the camera.
You see the camera right there.
Right there. Yeah. So how do you find that?
It's just being real, being yourself. At the end of it, no matter what you do, as long as you stay true to yourself and you're putting your personality out there, that's all that matters. That's all that matters, for sure.
Okay, and my final question is, what do you think has been the key to your ability to create high quality content while moving around, whether it's across states or internationally? You seem to still be able to produce volumes of work outside your home city on a consistent basis. Like, for example, when you went to London, you were still able to produce content, which is like a very it's a lot of effort because I would be enjoying my holiday. But yeah.
That's work too. That's content. Like anywhere you go is content. If you're trying to make content, like you just got to pull your phone out at the end of the day and just record. And like you have your vision before you travel. You know that you're going to travel to make content and do it. So you just got to make it happen. Plus, it's perspective too. Even if you don't make content and you like you haven't traveled that much in this world, I advise travel. It'll open your mind. It will open your perspective. I'm sure the people who've traveled before understand that. Like, it's a whole different perception when you come back to your normal state, which then can push you. Sorry, my bad. The P's are crazy. They can push you to do further. So just got to put yourself out there, and if you want to do something, like, do it.
So you advise traveling?
For sure.
So guys, those of you, go to the Australian government now and get your passports so you can travel and get your content creator bag, okay? Okay.
It's deeper than content though, it's live. In general, it's live.
Okay, so our final panelist is Wairua, and we have this question for you.
Yep.
As a creative in a heavily saturated industry, do you have any fears?
Sorry, what was the last word? Any
Fears.
fears? Not fears so much. I think it's good if in this industry there is a little bit of oversaturation because it allows people to understand what's trending. So if you're making something that looks this way and then there are 5 other brands that look that way as well, then it tells everyone that's looking to buy something that maybe I should be wearing this. You know what I mean? I think entrepreneurship as a whole is a bit scary. So there are always fears, but as you spend time in the business, being creative, you overcome them, and you honestly want to look for more things to be scared of so you can attack them, and that's what's going to help you grow in the long run.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so throughout the years, what would you say has carried or helped you maintain the quality seen in each drop? Not only in the pieces you create, but the campaigns, but marketing, the way your brands are perceived?
I think being in Australia, it's really beneficial to look at what's happening overseas and try to position yourself with those brands because they're always way ahead of the curve. When you kind of look at what's in Australia, we are slightly behind, so if you're trying to be in line with what's happening in Australia, you're naturally going to be behind. So just take that note. You know, if you want to be as big as the brands that are in the UK, that are in the US, then try to be like them and imitate as much as you can to a degree.
Yeah.
And just run it up.
No, that is actually true. I think as creatives, you have to understand that Australia is very behind. Like, we're probably like 5 years behind. Yep. So it's like when you are looking to become a creative, it's more to look at America, the UK. That should be your target audience, not competing with anyone here in Australia because you're competing with years behind. So I think that is a great take on that. Another question I have is, what is the process you take when selecting your pieces and what you decide to put out versus the pieces you keep in the vault for a later date?
Mm-hmm. I think it's important to understand as a creative that sometimes you create things for other creatives to appreciate when you should really be thinking about what your customer base is looking for. A new thing that a lot of people are doing are they're making a behind the scenes page within their brand that's separate from their brand, and that allows the people who are really focused and locked in on your brands to have an opinion about what comes out. So if you make 5 samples of 5 different hoodies, you can literally show them iPhone photos, doesn't have to be professional, and you can just ask the community what do you want first, and it allows people that when that does come out, they feel like they chose that.
Yeah, they're part of it.
And they're part of it, and that's community. And that would probably make them want to buy it a lot more.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So for any of the creatives who have the brands and stuff, so that is actually a very, very good strategy to help create such a following and also like a, a
Very
fan base.
tight-knit community.
Target community, yeah. And so my last question for you is, at what moment did you realize you had something special with what you were doing, whether it whether it be your personal brand, Effin, or another creative venture?
I think when I would see people that didn't know me for the brand, they would just wear the stuff because they'd seen it and liked it. And I'd see people walk past the street and I'd almost be excited to say, "What's up?" thinking that they know me, but they don't. They like the brand for what it is, as opposed to buying. They might be following my journey personally. So yeah, when people wear your stuff outside of knowing who you are as the creative director or whatever, I think that's when you can tell that you're doing something right.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Can we give a round of applause for our panelists? So this segment is, we're just going to throw random topics at them, and whoever wants to, take a grab at it and like answer the question, just, speak up. So the first question is, how important is your community to you, and what inspires your craft?
I think what's happening today with Faucet Failure is the best way to introduce people into any community-based things, when people can come together and experience each other, and they relate that good feeling with the brand or the event that's happening at the time, then that really builds up their loyalty to the brand, whatever. So I think what they're doing today is a really good. It's awesome. Yeah,
for sure. I feel like that's what we lack in Sydney too sometimes, but it's just the fact of everyone coming together and being on good vibes and just everyone's on the same page. I feel like we lack that, especially in Australia too. Like, it's not in Melbourne it happens a bit more, but there's not many situations where everyone comes together or everyone wants to be together, and this is like a club. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Promised land.
Facts. Promised land, for sure. But like that, for example, happens one time a year. It might not even happen this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, we need that more consistent. We need things to come together more. Yeah, for sure.
I think something that I think Australia does struggle with is having an identity, as especially with African Australians. Like, people from overseas, they go and they're like, "Oh my gosh, are there even black people in Australia?" Like, because we don't even have an identity. We don't have like someone that's like maybe our what's it called? Our shits and gigs. Okay, maybe not shits and gigs. Let me cancel that. Just like someone's like Chunks, or someone that's like known, like, oh, this is a influencer from Australia. We don't really have that, and I think that's what like we're kind of struggling to form that kind of identity. For sure. Yeah, and I think that's what. Yeah. It's not working.
On top of that, I do feel like if we have somebody like that, Australia is just going to end up turning them away. Like, yo, they just want to be like them, or they just want to be like that. So it's like, it's a tough subject, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, how do you have the identity of being Australian when you're African Australian, but you're kind of inspired by the influence of other countries? So yeah.
Could I just add to that as well? I feel like in the music world particularly, community is so important because we don't have our own sound even yet. And if there are musicians and rappers and singers here right now, I think it's really important to just kind of get together and make stuff together and actually try and do things your way with all the influence that you do have from everywhere else in the world. Like, try and come up with sounds that you think would represent our community well, And that hasn't been locked in just yet, but I have faith, and I know that there's so much great talent everywhere, like literally everywhere I look, there's so much great talent, but we just haven't like honed in and made something uniquely Australian, something uniquely African Australian, something uniquely us, you know what I mean? And I'm excited to see that unfold more and more as communities kind of get together more and more. Yeah.
I love that.
That's why I feel like when it comes to being a creative here, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because we don't already have a scene here, which is hard. But to all my creators here at the same time, like, someone's got to make it. Someone's got to do it, you know? So it's like, as long as we all come together and support each other and uplift each other, then we can make that happen. But it is going to be slower. It's going to take some time, but it can happen. Like you said, there's multiple creators in this room. There's multiple creators in Sydney, Perth, everywhere. You know what I mean? But we just have to come together and make that happen.
You know what I've noticed, this is actually leads on to the next question, is that I think Australia is a type of like country that if we see the next man doing something and it's a bit weird, we're like, I'm not gonna do that. But when we start seeing him progressing and doing well from that, that's when the next person's like, oh, I wanna do that. So now everybody's now copying each other because they think, they're like, oh, this is the best way to success. But no one wants to be the first one to actually step out. So no shade, but yeah, that's...
No, shade, all shade.
All shade, no tea.
No, but that's,
But
no,
yeah.
that's actually so true, and that's why you got to support the people in your community that are really like going out on a limb and doing what the fuck they want to do, whatever it is, you know, clothes, music, this, that, and the rest. Like, you have to really support them, not just to help your friend, but because it adds to the culture, it adds to the thing that we're all trying to build together, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the greater vision. Okay, so as the question that actually I was going to ask was, is imitation flattery to you? So like, have you guys all experienced maybe somebody's come up with an idea where it's like, and somebody's come up with an idea that's like, oh, that's kind of like mine. Or are you just like, you know, that's so cool, he thinks I'm so cool to, you know, imitate me, or you're like, that's a bit weird, why can't you be your own person?
There's a thin line when it comes to all that. Like, I've definitely been vocal when I've noticed that happen in my field, especially with bigger brands. Like, if a bigger brand takes from a smaller brand, I think that it's pretty shit. But when you're inspiring the people underneath you to even get to your level and further, I think that's what you should aim for at least. But then there are some instances where that gets thrown out the window and you crash out.
Okay, so you crashed that. Anyways, so does anyone else have anything to say?
I feel like it depends on the situation. Like, not ever, like, it's so hard to come up with ideas that have never been done before. So as long as you're taking an idea and turning it into your own, that's fine. And that's what a lot of people should do when they start. But if you're going tit for tat, taking everything, no credit, not even trying to make your own spin out of it, then that's a little like, sure.
There's like it's nice to see people use what you've done to kind of develop their own style and then push off into their own lane. I support that 100%.
Okay. Thank you guys for those answers. So the next question I have for you is, what would you tell your younger self or someone who is new to the creative industry looking to strive and make an impact in the scene? So I think you guys kind of touched on it, but just roughly give a little summary.
Damn. To my younger self, I would say just, man, like, I guess just do it. Like, I think I have a problem with caring what people think about me and caring about their perspective, and I'm starting to lose that. But like, just if you have an idea or if you want to start something, like, don't give a fuck what nobody thinks and just do it, bro. Because I don't want to live with regret. Like, I don't want to go in 20 years and be like, damn, like, if I tried to actually pursue that shit, I could have been some lit shit, you know what I mean?
You're telling your kids, like, that could have been me.
That
could have been me.
Nah, hell no.
I'm gonna say it could have, that was me. Like,
Exactly.
like,
So
that's the mindset.
I'd rather fuck around and find out now than be a bum later if I
No, we don't want no bums.
None of that.
Okay. Mina?
Younger self advice. Honestly, I think it's very much what he said. There's a lot that you lose if you are making something and you're thinking about how it's going to be perceived. Obviously, that doesn't apply if you're like, I don't know, making something that you have to market. But if you're a creative, if you're an artist, it is so bad for you to be in the studio, for example, and be like, oh, are people gonna fuck with this? Are they gonna fuck with this? Like, it just ruins every ounce of like creativity that flows out of you. So I think my best advice is to just do you and stay in your lane. And if you don't have a lane, make your own lane.
Period.
You know what I mean?
Period.
That's it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think a lot of the times, as I said before, you're the one that's going to be making the money. If you're the one that's different and you're the one putting your creativity and you're the one that makes it out, you're the one that's going to be getting the cash flow. Nobody else is going to eat your money for you. They're going to be like, oh, remember when I met you? Remember when I saw you? Remember, you know me? And you're going to be looking like, no. So that's why I said with Australia as well, I don't think our community is that supportive as well. Everybody's very judgmental, like, oh, why is she doing that? Why is she wearing this? Or she's doing too much, or he's doing too much. Like, don't even care about what anybody has to say, because they're the same people that when 10 years time comes, they're gonna be like trying to fan over you and be like, oh yeah, bro, remember me? So yeah, that is very good advice. Does anyone else have anything to say?
Yeah, I say, just gotta stand on biz, man. I can't lie. Like, as a younger self, or even just, I'm sure everyone in this room, right? Like, everyone knows what they want to do. I feel like everyone has a vision. You know, you have your manifest and you're doing this and this, you have it all planned out. It's just standing on business and making it happen. And that's what will separate you towards someone who had plans and someone who is the plan and actually has something going on for themselves. Like, you know, you have it all figured out in your head, but until you put it onto to paper, nothing's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
Advice for my younger self, this goes for anyone in the world. I'd say that everyone is pretending that they know what they're doing while trying to figure things out. You know what I mean? Like, even myself today, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't have anything prepared. I'd never done anything like this before. But I just told myself I'll figure it out along the way. It's just backing myself. So back yourself. Anyone in this room, I'm sure everyone has creative enough to do whatever that it is that they want to achieve. You just got to be your own biggest fan.
Yeah, your own cheerleading squad, and I'm sure you guys have people who have like supported you, like friends and family. Like, is there anyone in particular, like your mum, your dad, or your like friends that like really have supported you through your creative journey? Because like, yeah. I'm sure you can back yourself, but it's only so much that you can actually support yourself to go far. You know, and I feel like a really big inspiration of that is Kanye West. Yeah. Like, I know he's a bit, you know, but but if you actually see how this guy is like really put in effort and struggled, and he believed in himself that genuinely he was going to be the next big thing. It's such an inspiration to all of us that we can believe in ourselves and we can be the next big thing that the world, not even Australia, but the world has like seen.
You almost have to be delusional.
Yes, oh, Delulu is the Salulu. Literally, Delulu is the solution, I'm telling you.
Right.
So my next question is, what's your favorite part about what you do?
For me, I would definitely say, like, leaving an impact on people. Like, whenever I see, like, certain kids, because I do a lot of, like, usually my crowd is usually younger, like, I would say, like, 15 upwards. And then I coach teams as well, so it's like whenever you see a kid just in the moment, like enjoying it, and then sometimes I can like record it as well. Like, I think that's just like that hits me, I think.
I think my favorite thing, really, like, I'm actually, this is probably not apparent right now, but I'm very much a person who loves my solitude. And I love the process of making music and being in the studio, but I also, I think my favorite part is performing, you know, it challenges me. I'm scared every time, but right before I get on stage, I genuinely want to puke, but, you know, I do it anyway, and it makes me feel so accomplished that I go out there, I do it, I come back, and I'm like, hell yeah, you know,
hell yeah.
I did that again.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So that's my favorite.
Sorry, what was the question again?
What was your favorite thing about what you do? What's your favorite?
Oh, okay. Probably to inspire people. As much as I make crazy content and stuff be happening all the time, like, I'd say like it really is to inspire, because if there's someone younger in the youth or whatever stage of life they're at, and they can see someone like myself genuinely doing something that they love and always wanted to do and can make that a living, why can't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I can do it, so can you. You just gotta make it happen.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, just big ups to Jamal, because I feel like a lot of people do judge him because they'll be like, what is he posting? He's posting every day, but this guy posts every day, man. Every day. He's always making content out of everything. Like, this is someone I actually believe, like, you know, it's gonna get there. And like, it's sad that people would just, you know, just judge him and like think, oh, you know, he's not really like, you know, he's just annoying, you know, allegedly.
This is what people need to understand, right? This is what people need to understand. No matter what you do, people are going to say stuff about you. Difference to doing it online and offline is that I see the comments, it's behind your back. People going to talk regardless.
Facts.
It's a true difference.
Facts.
And if you don't have haters, you ain't doing enough.
Exactly. If they're not talking about you, you're not that person.
You ain't doing it right if people aren't talking about what you do.
And yeah.
I think the favorite thing about what I do would be, honestly, just having freedom in my life. Wake up and do whatever. But on the back end of that, the hardest thing is trying to figure out what I need to do every day. It's like I said, it's just trying to figure shit out.
You know, no one has that shit figured out anyways.
Especially in Australia, like, who do you pillar yourself towards if you're trying to, you know what I mean? There's no playbook.
Yeah, you're just the first of the first. You're one of one.
Sorry.
One of one. Okay, so the last question that I have for you, and then it's you guys, you're going to be asking the questions. So the first question, or the last question, that's what I meant to say. What actually inspires you to create?
Say the end goal, the vision. Seeing everything come and unravel in front of you. Get into it. And the end goal, for sure. And the people around me.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. I'm not gonna lie. I have like this tendency of like, I don't like editing, and that's a big part of it. But I think whenever you see you know the end goal, not even what you know the end goal, but you know that like you can produce something that might impact somebody, might inspire someone. I think that's what keeps me going, to be honest.
I think my biggest like inspiration and like why as to like why I do this shit. I honestly think, well, to be fair, I didn't actually intend on being an artist.
Oh.
It just kind of happened, but in like a really like beautiful way. And the biggest inspiration is definitely just knowing that you can't take your talents for granted, you know? Like, I look around at my mom, for example, who's like worked her ass off her whole life. And she has many talents, but she never like honed in on it and took advantage. So I see that, and it's probably the thing that inspires me every day to do what I do, you know?
What inspires me to create is honestly the cost of living.
Oh, he said.
yeah, like, because if I don't do what I do, then I don't eat. And that's just a fact.
He said the kids need to be fed.
Yeah, give yourself no safety net and say, this is what I need to achieve, and if I fail it, then I don't eat.
Oh, that's
can you go to sleep hungry? No.
Oh, people do. No, but true, no. I agree. So, guys, we have asked all the questions, so now it's to you guys. So I hope you guys have thought of questions. I know you have been, you want to be asking some questions, so here. What was your name? Okay, you have to stand up and.
All right, I got two questions. One's for everyone, and one is specifically for Brefo.
Okay.
So I guess I'll start with all of you guys. The first question is, in times of like, where things are just like, feels like it's not going anywhere, you're not making as much progress as you usually do, things are slow, how do you push past those like time periods where it's just like, damn, like, am I really built for this?
Consistent. My whole life is consistent.
Heard you.
Just gotta be consistent, make it happen, for real.
Very that.
I mean, I have a different approach. Sometimes if I don't feel creative, then I don't create. And then I need to go get inspired. So, you know, appreciating other people's work until the spark is kind of lit in me again, I guess.
For sure.
Was the question like when it's really hard?
Yeah, like when it's like
How do
maybe
I-
you don't have like inspiration or something, like how do you push past those time periods?
You know what? Like, when I don't have inspiration, I swear to God, I do it anyway. Like, do it when it feels great. Do it when it doesn't feel great. Just do it. Yeah, definitely.
Just do it.
Can I
Yeah,
also
just
add-
push it.
Heard
You
you,
know.
heard you.
And even when you're feeling shit and like you have no inspiration that day, you doing it often, like for me, if I just do it anyway, the inspiration comes back, you know? Sometimes inspiration is like something you have to chase, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Can I also add on to that too, which I think is really important, and I've started to learn more recently. I say momentum. That's another word you can use instead of consistency, because if you keep doing great and build that momentum, you're gonna keep on doing great things. But it can go the other way too. If you have a few off days, it's a lot easier to have a few more off days on top of that, compared to if you stay strong that whole time and just keep going with that momentum. Then
For sure, heard
you
you.
gotta keep
Very
that going,
that.
for sure.
You didn't answer that last question.
I keep dying. But for me, I think I've just like lost the focus of looking at numbers and like, or what's really going, like the results too much, and just like focus on just, I guess, doing it, creating it. So whenever, like, I don't know, so there's like, it's kind of eliminates the dry points. Like if I'm not focused on how many people are watching me or how many views I'm getting or how many people are pulling up to my events, then I'm just going to keep doing it regardless for the love of me actually doing it instead of worrying about the outcome, I guess.
For sure, that's fine. All right, the next question, you might be able to answer this as well. Obviously, you just signed an NBL 1 contract for this year. Congrats, by the way.
Appreciate it.
You know, how do you plan on balancing, you know, it's a big commitment. How do you plan on balancing that and also being a content creator, all these takeovers or whatever? How do you plan on doing that? And obviously with you, you're an artist, but you're also like much more than that and do all these other things. So like, how do you balance all of that?
How do I balance it?
You might, yeah.
So I guess this is like, I mean, honestly, I've been doing it for a couple of years now because I've always been playing. But man, I think it's good that my passion is in between both. So I'm playing basketball and I'm making content around basketball. So I'm not really doing something on the side that's completely different. I can kind of stay inside the same lane and just make content throughout it. But it definitely takes time away from being able to create as much, especially of other people, which I want to get into. But I think also building a team now, that's the main part for me. Building a team around the brand so that I can cover what I need to cover and other people can help me, because I can't do everything on my own, to be honest, and there's more power, more people. So like, yeah, right now we're kind of working at, like we got like six, 7 people. So like, just keep building from there.
6, 7.
For me, I think the way I balance all the things is I have one main focus, and obviously that's music and keeping that ball rolling and making sure that I'm always like feeding my creativity, and then all the other stuff, like, you know, my manager's here, like the way we plan our days and stuff, it's always like music and long-term goal things first, and everything else comes second. So it's really just about prioritizing, like, you know, is your main thing music, and then you want to get into film. Okay, well, music's already got your full attention, that's your main craft, but you got to keep feeding that. And then if you want to get into film, for example, it's like a slow prioritizing, but you shouldn't prioritize everything the same. I don't believe in that, you know? You have to like have categories. It's like, you know, family first, music this, film stuff here. Like, be very specific about how you prioritize your life. Not just work stuff, but like everything, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's kind of how I go about things. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Does anyone else? Oh, yep.
Hi, my name's Beck. I go by B Chill. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer. I'm just got a question for Maina. Is that it?
Yeah.
How did you build your community when you were first starting off?
That is such a good question. Honestly, I just went to everything, and as I was saying before, you know, it's like supporting what's going on around you. Sorry, woo. Supporting what's going on around you is just as important to you as an artist because it's feeding you, you're feeding them, and you're also like networking, you're also like putting yourself in the mix, you're adding to the culture, you're feeding off the culture. And then outside of that, building community really is about like finding people that are very like-minded and just sticking to them, just being like, you're mine, I'm never gonna let you go, motherfucker. Yeah. And just literally that, you know, and it served me really well. And, you know, some of the connections I've made from day one are still some of the most important relationships I have now. Even like from people, like individual people, to literal like, you know, institutions like the Opera House or different groups around the city, like in the communities. You just have to really cling on to like meaningful connections that you have, you know?
Thank you.
Anyone have any more questions from the crowd? No? Yeah? Sure.
Hello, my name is Jamal.
Oh, Jamal, my boy.
As a person who's played high-level sports, who's now integrating into the creative scene, so my question is, how do you find individuality in your community, especially when trying to build one in Australia? That's it. Thank you. For everyone.
I feel like just about being yourself, bro. Like, you are your best weapon. You are your best person to make anything happen. So as long as you stay true to yourself and just be yourself, plus on top of that, when you grind and find your own way when it comes to the creative scene, you, just like anything else you do, you and then find yourself in different situations that you haven't seen yourself in before. And you'll be put in situations that you never dealt with before. So that will just help build yourself towards the end goal. For sure. Mm-hmm.
All right, so anyone have any more questions for the panelists before we close the panel? Yeah.
Hello, my name's Gladys. This is a question for everyone. I just want to know what has been the highlight of your career so far. Like, what have you experienced or achieved that you were like, oh my gosh, I really did it?
Oh.
Damn, a highlight. I would say there's been a couple. I would say one of my events that I threw, I think 2 years ago. It was a takeover we did with an American influencer streetball character. I think it was just a highlight because that was somebody that I was getting inspiration from, and I naturally built a relationship with him that I didn't think I forced upon. And for me, just going down my own lane, he recognized it and was willing to work with me. And I think just like me starting it and hearing everybody like kind of say like, you just want to be like this or you're trying to be like this. And then when he was here, it was like, oh, like a whole switch up of what she was kind of talking about. It was just like, it was kind of like a stepping stone to me to be like, yeah, fuck what anybody else thinks. Just keep doing you. And you're able to, like, don't feel like looking up to people and like kind of going down the same path is like, it's a bad thing, I guess. Like, you can gain inspiration from everybody. I think everybody does in their life. So, yeah, that was probably my highlight.
I think I have. That's actually a hard question because I love so many moments. Maybe I'll get back to that. You answer.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
I think working with big brands and stuff is cool, but one thing that stood out to me the most, I would say, is going overseas, going like America and the UK especially, and doing my thing over there and like being shown love, being recognized, like people like genuinely like showing love to what you do is crazy. And that's already crazy to the fact when it happens here, but then to go like on the whole other side of the world and it happened over there too was like pretty, stood out for sure, yeah.
I think my biggest highlight was probably my first highlight, and that was telling myself that I wanted to do this full time. And then within 6 months of putting it out, even online, I was saying I want to be supporting myself full time with my brand. Quitting my day job, I guess, would probably be my biggest highlight because it was my first.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so does anyone have any more questions? I think that's it for the questions. I think I just have one last question for you guys, and that's just basically how do you guys become consistent like with your craft? Because I feel like that's the hardest thing, is to actually be consistent every day dropping, or every day like making new merch or new clothing line, and or making a new song, and creating more content. How do you guys remain consistent?
I think genuinely liking what you're doing and not doing it for flowers or anything like that is probably going to be the best way, especially in the clothing industry. A lot of people want to be the creative director of their own brand and stuff like that, which is cool. But if you're genuinely doing it because you love designing, creating, making music, and you don't need a, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, facts, facts, facts. Come back to me in a second.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely agreeing what he said. I think I'm still on my journey. Like, definitely, I'm not the most consistent person, but I think strengthening your love for the act you're doing. I guess like not looking at the numbers. Just if you like it, you enjoy it, you love whatever you're doing, whatever you're creating, you're gonna keep doing it regardless of what the outcome is. So that's how you find consistency.
Yeah. Consistency. To be honest, it's definitely what Wairua was saying before when he was like, if you don't do it, you don't eat. If you don't do it, you don't see results. You just gotta do it, and you gotta have that in the back of your head like all the time. Yeah, that's it for me, really.
Just like what I said with the momentum thing too. It's really just, if you're consistent for a few days and a drop off, like it's harder to stay consistent. Where if you actually like put your mind to it and be consistent for a week or two, it's just gonna become normal nature to you, and then you're gonna end up sticking it out. It's gonna get to a point where if I didn't do something today, now I feel like shit. Now I feel like I didn't accomplish something. For sure.
Right, well, thank you guys. Again, I'd like for us to give a round of applause to our amazing panelists.
Thank you guys.
They all contributed such great inspiration and advice, and I hope we can take from it, because the greater picture is for us to build this community and make it stronger and make it known in Australia, whether we're artists, whether we're designers. Be different, be you, and as Nina has been harping on, just do it. I don't know if she was influenced by Nike, but yes, just do it. Just do it. Yeah. So yeah, that would be it for the panel discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.